Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and first of all, I gotta thank you guys a ton because the first video I did on my game hunting stuff turned out way better than I expected. So thank you guys. I hear you loud and clear. You are enjoying it, and so I'm happy to do some more stuff. Let's do a baseline. Let me show you guys the collection I have so far. And if you watched last week's video, you know that I did a little bit of a pan to show my downstairs collection, but for this video, we're gonna start in the upstairs and show you guys some of the stuff that's in the background of Sacred Symbols you may have never seen before. I also have one little surprise that I'm gonna put probably in the middle of me opening a package of one of my holy grail games that I got thanks to an awesome listener of Sacred Symbols who helped me out. So let's go ahead and check out some of the games that I have in my upstairs studio room. So this is my PVM setup, and if you've ever watched the video version of Sacred Symbols, I'm sure you've seen this in the background before, and it's always kind of changing. If you watch the different episodes, I kind of change around and move stuff and take stuff out, and so this is kind of the current iteration of it. Primarily, this is where I keep my cream of the crop Super Nintendo games. This one, I ended up calling around and found a local video install place that did TV stations and stuff. And I just asked him if they had any specifically PVMs, not just CRTs. And they offered me this one for $200. And I remember my parents and my wife Holly laughed at me why are you buying this old TV for $200? And I think the last time I saw one, it was $200 broken. And so this thing's amazing. I have the RGB cables for my Super Nintendo, so it is running in the best possible way. So down here is where I have some of my best Super Nintendo games. So the most valuable game, some of you maybe already saw this up here, is of course Chrono Trigger. And what's funny about this one too is that this one I just got in a bundle with a Super Nintendo, and I want to say the bundle was $100, and I saw it on Facebook Market. This was a few years ago. I highly doubt you're going to easily be able to find a deal like this ever again. Another random one that I got in a bundle that's pretty rare is this Sunset Riders, and this game is super fun if you've ever checked it out. There's the awesome line of the "bury me with my money."
Bury me with my money.
And this game's super cool too. Down here, I have one of the Super Game Boys with Zelda Link's Awakening. Again, I don't remember where I got either one of those. I recently just picked up this Dreamcast, and then over here, I have a couple random things like controllers. There's a PS1, my old PS4 Pro, some Mario figures. Deep in here is a really interesting little gem. It's very dusty because it's been sitting down here for a while, but that is the Sega CD add-on for the Gen 2 Sega Genesis. All right, so moving on up, there's this PS2 that I just recently got this past weekend for $5 at a yard sale. No hookups, but that's okay because I had them and it works great, no problem. This Balun case, I'll explain it when I show the other cases I have downstairs. I had someone send these to me and they're super cool. And up here is something that I don't know if I want to say ashamed of, but I've started to get a few figurines, and it's a very dangerous, slippery slope. And back here is the infamous Balun collection. I need to figure out a better way to display these. I've been having people send me copies of Balun to my P.O. box, just because. I mean, it's not a good game, but surely they're going to get cheap, and I'm going to have 1 million copies one day. So if you'd like to send me a copy of Balun, my P.O. box is in the description. The last thing I wanted to highlight up here is this neon sign that I just absolutely love. This is something my mom got me for Christmas, I want to say 2 years ago. She found it from a seller on Etsy, and I've seen a bunch like it, but I've been really happy with this one. It looks fantastic in the background of my set. The last thing to highlight up here is my Ocarina of Time 3DS display unit. This did come from a GameStop. My uncle actually knew someone who worked at a GameStop. He got it, and then he gave it to me. I need to figure out a way to actually put this in the background of my set, but unfortunately, I've used it to hold random stuff. I have some tape in there, and there's a Mario figure up here and my other One Piece figure. So I need to figure out a better way to display this, but something that is really cool. Super glad that I was able to get it. Again, I have no idea what it's actually worth. Okay, I think twice now I said that I was going to show you guys the last thing, but I know that people ask about some of my posters I have up here. First of all, the amazing Sacred Symbols poster that was done by our friend Hodge. He's done a lot of excellent work for us. The plan is to eventually bring these back and put them in the store, so just sit tight. We're still figuring things out. And then over here, I just have some random posters. Of course, the Rapture, the Masquerade Ball, and the Super Metroid one. And then over here, I know this isn't gaming, but I love it so much. This is my End of Evangelion poster. This is an original from the 90s, from Japan. I had a listener of the show help me out and hook me up with this. Kind of expensive, but I absolutely love it hung up here. One of my absolute prized possessions here in the studio. So the story behind this is that a Last Stand community member that some of you may know, Sean Mason, reached out to me because he hit me up with this and said, "Hey, do you want me to pick this up for you?" And I said, "Hell yeah, we got to check this out. I'm very excited about this." So let's go ahead and take a look without showing the address on the box. He's really got this sealed up quite a bit here. Got some precious cargo, though it looks like there's maybe something else in here. So let's go ahead and check that out first. So whatever this is a total surprise because we only discussed what this is, but I don't know what this could be. Oh my god. Look at this, dude. This is... okay, so I mentioned this to Sean. I was like, "Hey, I'm looking for this game. Let me know if your guy has it." And apparently he did, and look at how minty it is. I freaking love this game. And this is just too nice that he threw this in here. Man, let's take a peek inside too. Oh, hell yeah. Dude, this Pandemonium 2 ad in here. Look, the disc looking nice. Dang, Gex there. But this is just so incredibly kind to throw this in. Thank you, Sean. This is a game that I've really been looking for. So this is something that a little more high dollar that I paid Sean to pick up for me, and I'm so excited. Hold on, I gotta open this one too. All right, and here it is. Oh my goodness, look at that. One of the greatest of all time. Undeniably, one of the greatest of all time. Tomba Complete for the PlayStation 1, and this is looking absolutely fire. Outside of a game convention, I've never seen this in its full glory. I remember the copy we had when I was a kid. I think we just had it on disc. My uncle still has it, thankfully. But this is just an absolutely beautiful find, something I'm so excited to put in my collection. And man, that looks so cool, so nice. When I was at Too Many Games, I passed by a few different booths that had this. They were all $200 a pop for this bad boy. And Sean was able to hook me up with a deal that was way better than that. It was still a little pricey. I mean, I guess it depends on what you consider is worthwhile for a PlayStation game, but definitely much lower than that. But man, Sean, thank you so much. This is so awesome. 2 PlayStation 1 games that I really desperately wanted, both in beautiful shape. You are the best, dude. All right, so we're moving to the downstairs portion. The lighting's a little bit weird because I just used this clamp light real quick just to get a little more light on, but it's now taken up this entire wall, which is totally crazy to me just because I remember first starting collecting in high school and just starting with a small collection, and it's definitely grown throughout the years. And so let's go over some of the cool stuff in here. Down here, I have some Nintendo 64 games. I used to have a better collection, but I let someone borrow them at one point. They never gave them back, and so it's very sad. I have a few box NES and Atari games. I don't remember where I got these either. I would maybe consider selling them just to try to buy some other rare games or something like that, but I haven't really looked into it. I have a few PC games, some of them from my childhood, some of them not, and particularly I have to shout out Putt Putt, Freddy Fish, stuff like that. I used to love those Humongous Entertainment games. Then I have some of these Sega CD games. I believe these were donated by a family member when I was in high school or something like that. And one of the particularly interesting ones, Mickey Mania, which of course David Jaffe worked on. He's in the booklet. Jaffe, when are you going to sign my copy of Mickey Mania? Please, make it happen, Jaffe. Moving on is my 360 games, and this is finally when I wised up and stopped selling games when I was a teenager, just because I realized it wasn't really worth it. Just recently, I've gotten a few of these GameCube games like Mario Kart and Lego Star Wars. Down here is actually a really interesting disc. We'll take a look at this in a second. So taking a quick peek at this disc I mentioned, this is a special beta disc, Xbox Preview Halo Reach. I think this was a thing where you could install the game directly to your console. I signed up for it or something like that. If you remember what this is for, please let me know in the comments, because I've just held on to it for all this time, thought it was cool, especially since it says Microsoft Confidential. Some of these Wii games I actually just picked up the other day. I got a Wii bundle for $40, which had Mario Kart and Wii Sports Resort. I have a few PS3 games, nothing crazy, but I wasn't really into that system too much just because I mainly played on 360 at the time. Moving down the line is my Sega Genesis games, and I really was a Sega kid at first. I think my first system was a Sega Genesis. I think there's a photo of me playing Sonic like in a diaper, basically. I'm pretty sure the rarest game I actually have on Genesis is this copy of Zombies Ate My Neighbors. This was one of my favorites as a kid, even though it was really difficult for me at the time. I don't think I ever got past like the 3rd or 4th level. All right, so this next part has expanded rapidly over the past few weeks, and that is my PlayStation 1 collection. And these are kind of the overall general games, because I'll show you down below where I have my display games, and there's some here that I would display if I had more space, but yeah, this has really grown rapidly recently, just because, as I said before, my main focus right now is PlayStation 1. One of my more random and obscure games is this copy, Bust a Groove 2. My mom and I loved this game growing up. She was shockingly good at it, like way better than I was. And again, this is one that's just hung around in my collection and now is worth like a decent amount of money, which is just totally weird. I wouldn't have expected that of Bust a Groove 2, but a really cool game. I recently had a tweet that kind of blew up where I was at a yard sale, I guess it was a garage sale technically, and I found this copy of Final Fantasy VII, and it's got a little bit of a crack up here, but that's not a big deal. And I got this for $1, and that is so, dude, I've been to so many yard sales since then. I haven't seen any PS1 games, but of course, the first yard sale really got me going with this. The week before, I was at Too Many Games and I bought this exact game for $50. So just goes to show there are awesome deals out there if you're willing to go and search for them. My PS2 collection is a sad story because most of it was sold just because I was an idiot and I needed money when I was a kid. You guys know how it is. Most of this stuff I bought either recently or some of it was an old roommate left it to me and just said, hey, I don't want these, take it. Okay, moving along here because I feel like I'm taking forever. Maybe not. We'll see how it goes in the edit. I have some random like manuals and guides here. One of the interesting ones I have is this Super Mario RPG manual. Again, I think this was in a box that someone gave me in high school. I don't actually have the cartridge, which is very unfortunate, but I know that this can still sell for a decent amount. I'm gonna hold on to it just because hopefully one day I will get the cartridge for it. Who knows though. Moving along to my NES games. Again, nothing too crazy here. And then as I said earlier, my really good Super Nintendo games are upstairs, and so kind of my more common or sports games, whatever, I just keep down here since they look pretty nice. Over here, I need a better way to organize this. I just have some loose portable stuff. This is the Final Fantasy copy from last week's video. So down here is where I put the PlayStation games that I just like. Some of them are high value, some of them aren't, but I feel like they look the coolest or I have some kind of nostalgic connection. So Ape Escape, Silent Hill, Gex, which you saw me get earlier, Mega Man Legends 1 and 2, just got those recently, and let me tell you, these games are so awesome, and I can't wait to play them again. I think I'm going to play Mega Man Legends 1 pretty soon here. But I was super happy to get these. Shout out to the listener that helped me get Mega Man Legends 2 at Too Many Games. Then in the center, of course, Tomba 1 and 2. Both of these listeners helped me out get, so I'm so, like these, when I sit on my couch, I'll like look over and see them here in my collection, and it just brings me a lot of joy. And then down here is some Final Fantasy games. I just recently finished Final Fantasy VII for the first time ever, all the way through. And then, of course, one of the greatest of all time, Metal Gear Solid. I absolutely loved Metal Gear Solid growing up, and it's one of the games that I sold growing up, and so I got this one at Too Many Games. Luckily, not too bad. I think it was like 35 bucks, but... So moving down to the bottom is a lot more modern stuff, like my PlayStation 4, PS5, Switch stuff. I don't really have a good way of organizing these. I just kind of put them up here, and then when I want to grab something, I go and hunt for it. But overall, again, this is the benefit of like not selling games, is that eventually you just have like a cool collection. And then over here, my small but growing PS5 collection. Now, you guys know I have to go over some of these. My Vita collection, it's small, but the games I have, I'm really, really pleased. And some of my favorites of all time, of course, you guys know I love Danganronpa and Persona 4 Golden. These three are particularly cool because they are Japanese copies. These two never released in the US on physical. And Danganronpa V3 is extremely expensive to get. I really wish I had the US version, but the Japanese version was pretty cheap. Again, a listener helped me acquire these. Over here are the enamel pins from the whatever Nintendo rewards. It's not called Club Nintendo anymore, but these were super cool and you were able to get them for pretty cheap. I think if you had the points, they were like $5 to ship them. But I absolutely love these. I will never wear them, even though I really want to, because they just look so pristine and I gotta keep it that way. Now moving on to the bottom part, this NES Power Set. I just got this a few weeks ago. Actually, I think it was like a week and a half ago. Found this on Craigslist for $75. And it's not in like the best condition. You can see there's some it's like a little messed up on the edges, but it's totally complete. It has the console, the controllers, the game, and the power set, the power pad. Then over here, my Evangelion box set. I know that was pretty limited and it was pretty painful purchase at the time, but I knew that they would not sell it again. This is like, it was super limited run. Moving over here, I just have some random stuff that I don't really know where else to put. In particular, I've got these cases here, and I'll link to the store. This was sent to me by a listener of Sacred Symbols who knew I was getting into PlayStation 1 games, and they sent me both of this Bloodborne, Persona 5 Royal, and the Balan case he saw upstairs. Really cool stuff. Check out his store because some of the cases he has are just really, really awesome. And then over here are some games that are pretty special to me. Abroxia 2 on both PS Vita and PS4. That's the first game I've ever been in the credits for, which is a really cool experience. And then of course Twin Breaker, which is the Sacred Symbols game. Unfortunately, it was made before I was on the show. And so Barry, where's the patch? Patch me into the game, do Twin Breaker 2, something. I mean, we got to make this work out in one way or another. So I think that about covers it. I have some other random stuff upstairs. Maybe we'll explore that another day, but I wanted to give you guys a brief overview of what I've got so far. The games I'm still hunting for, though, that's kind of a big question, is like, I have some of the big bangers from my childhood that I really wanted, and there's some other stuff that I feel like I want to get. In particular, I have a vendetta. Many years ago, I, again, was a moron and sold a copy of The Misadventures of Tron Bond, and it would be really nice to round out my Mega Man Legends collection. I think I sold it at the time for like $100 or $200, and now it's like $500. So maybe someday I'll find that game again. Maybe I won't. The other ones that I really want are like, there's a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure PS1 game. I know it's the inferior version than the Dreamcast version, but it'd be still really cool to have as a big JoJo fan. I think that one's like $500. And then I really would like to get a lot of the Squaresoft RPGs. There's one in particular I remember growing up called Threads of Fate that we used to play that was really cool. I'd love to get that one at some point. So that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think my collection is missing. Next week, we'll be back with a game hunting video out in the wild. Really excited for that. And overall, guys, thank you so much for supporting this new, fun little endeavor for me. It's been super cool. So until next time, see you guys later.